Hey guys, today we're here at the breathing room to see if yoga is a good treatment for anxiety. Let's go.
This is Emily Lorin. She's a yoga instructor at the Breathing Room, New Haven.
Tell us about yoga. What is yoga?
So yoga originally translated is bind or to yoke, right? So across the practices, you'll see a lot of different interpretations of this, but usually what people will say is it means union, to unite, right? So that's breath to body, body to breath, spirit to body, and just bringing all elements of the self together. Spirit, mind, body, breath.
Not even close to what I thought it was. Okay, cool. Well, I'm learning a lot throughout this series, so it's just very exciting for me.
Well, we do a lot, you see a lot of yoga that's postures, right?
That's what I figured.
You're like, it's just
to make you
practice.
balance good.
Right. Basically, there are 8 different parts. So just one part is the postures. And they all are incorporated together as yoga. But we kind of see more of the postures as yoga than anything else, but that's not accurate.
I literally just thought, I was like, I need to get balanced better. I'll do yoga. But apparently I'm completely wrong.
No, you're right, because you do need to get more balanced physically.
Right, but there's so much more to it.
Emotionally, it's great. It's like
so
full body balance.
emotionally balanced. It's not even funny.
I think that's true for all of us.
So then health benefits. It's not just getting balanced physically. There's a lot of different health benefits for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, so because it's such a multifaceted practice, there are a lot of health benefits, right? So the most obvious is being flexible, which is just great.
Right.
And which is funny because the biggest complaint or the question that I get from people who haven't practiced yet is, I'm really unflexible. Can I even do yoga? And it's the purpose of yoga is to become flexible.
Right.
So obviously, yes, you can still do yoga.
It's like going to a trainer and being like, I can't lift anything. Can I even work out? Which, that should just be my excuse for not working out anymore.
Can't do it.
I can't lift it, so I just have to stay home and eat chips.
Yeah, and tacos.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, I love tacos.
Yeah.
We're connecting.
So, okay, so the health benefits, there are many, but I mean, the top ones that come to mind are increased flexibility, which is good for your body in many ways. Besides the fact that you get to feel good about touching your toes, it also decreases your risk of injury and strengthens your bones. It strengthens the ligaments and joints. So again, decreases your risk of injury, and it decreases your risk of like arthritis in later years, right? Or carpal tunnel, especially because we spend a lot of time on our wrist in yoga, and now we also spend a lot of time typing, right? So that action is super helpful. Physically, those are some of the benefits, but then it also helps boost digestion, it helps boost your immunity. It helps decrease anxiety and decrease depression. It's revitalizing, and it helps focus the mind, which is really great in our very distracted society.
Absolutely.
Right? So those are just like a handful that come to mind right away, but it is very grounding, and not just in the sense of like, I know where I am and not in space, but grounding in finding your way back into your body, because as humans, we spend a lot of time just spinning on different things. We're like squirrel, just squirrel all the time.
Absolutely.
So I think, to me, that's one of the biggest things, and that groundedness impacts so many other things. Yeah.
And you don't even really, I think people don't realize how ungrounded you become, even just in your, you get kind of stuck in a rut of like, go to work, come home, watch TV, eat, go to work. And then you're kind of just like floating around in life, and you're not at all living what life is supposed to be. I think that's why people get so stressed out and so anxious, because they're not grounded. And you need something where you can come for an hour and just lose yourself in something like that, especially if it grounds you. I didn't even think about that as a treatment sort of thing.
Well, I mean, when was the last time you know that you took a breath, that you're aware of it?
I can tell you just right now that you said that.
Right now.
Because you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one part of our body that works both voluntarily and involuntarily, right? You're gonna breathe no matter what,
Right.
but you can also control your breath.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's yoga, right? When you sit and you breathe, and then you breathe intentionally out, like you've done yoga because you united your breath to your body and your mind and your spirit all in one moment, and like you were here for this. And that's healing and soothing to your nervous system, which impacts everything else. I know, this is so cool. The body is amazing.
It is, and you know, it's funny because I always had this like, I own a yoga mat, and I don't do yoga, but I want to, but you know, it just, I think it sounds intimidating to a lot of people. And so it just keeps you away because you're like, oh, you either have to like, you know, love granola in order to do it, or you have to be like, you know, somebody who can like lift their leg over their head, and like I'm neither of those people. And so I think it keeps, if I'm somebody that stays away because of that, I think it keeps a lot of people away from that. And that's unfortunate because apparently it's really freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is really freaking awesome. And I think part of it is that we lose, I don't know, sometimes I know all the benefits, and even still I'm like, ugh, that mat's in the corner, and I know I need to get onto it, because it's like when you know something is good for you, like you know not hitting snooze 12 times on your alarm is better for you.
Right.
But yeah, you do it anyways,
Right.
and you rush out the door, and then that's how you started your day.
Mm-hmm.
I know that getting onto a mat is really good for me, like just as being a better human.
Mm-hmm.
But we resist that because I think the deepest like root of yoga and that groundedness into yourself is so antithetical to our society that it's like you almost find that resistance within yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to be rooted and I want to be grounded and I don't want to give into the drama of the world, you know? But also, that's what everyone else is doing, you know?
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. And then like also, I think a lot of it is, I mean, for me, it's laziness. Like I've gotten so lazy, and I think it's easy to be lazy when you're stressed out and you're anxious because then it gives you an excuse that, well, I have to stay home because I just like don't have the energy, or you know, I just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And that it just turns into more laziness, and then you're never doing anything good for yourself.
Yeah.
Where you could just get up and take an hour for yourself. It's for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
You don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Forget the haters.
Sure.
Do it for you.
Absolutely. That should always be your motivation.
Yeah.
What's cool though is that even while, so I said already that it's not just the postures, but it is the postures as well, right? Everything has an energy, including our emotions and the events in our lives, right? And so these energies, these incidences are stored in our bodies, which sounds kind of strange, but if you've ever, I mean, everyone said like, oh, I just didn't get a good vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And good vibes right now is a total thing. So
Yeah.
if we're gonna have t-shirts that say good vibes, we have to acknowledge what that actually means.
Right.
So we harbor emotions and traumas in our bodies,
Mhm.
right? Like the hips are a big storing point for trauma. They're like the junk drawer of the body. You'll hear people say that all the time, right? We just like hurl sadness, trauma, regret, disappointment, just like into those sockets. And so you can like watch television and sit, and like fold. You're in your hip sockets, right?
Yeah.
But you're still doing yoga because you're working on your hips,
Yeah.
right?
I legit actually do that.
Yeah.
It's to stretch out because I get so uncomfortable, but
Because it gets
I
so
do it.
tight.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. So we can like do these things super easily. We just don't often choose to.
No.
But we can, and it's incredibly beneficial.
And so now let's lead ourselves into the whole world of anxiety.
Oh gosh.
So so you can come to yoga and you can have your anxiety
Yeah.
relieved.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say you come to yoga and then it's 100% dissipated and gone.
No, well, but like anything, you have to come a few times.
Yeah. Yeah, because think about it. Anxiety is usually like sitting in the past because you're ruminating over something else that has happened
Right.
in your past,
Yeah.
or you're projecting yourself into the future
Yeah.
about what might happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can come back to the center,
Mhm.
what's present,
Yep.
you can alleviate a lot of that anxiety.
Yeah.
So that's what you do in yoga.
You just live in the moment.
Yeah. And the action of moving, like movement with breath, right? We inhale to lift the arms. We exhale to fold the body. And doing that movement with the breath, you're breathing, right? And people go throughout the entire day without breathing. I mean, like, you breathe enough.
Right, obviously.
You breathe enough to
People
live.
are dropping dead left and right.
Just stop breathing. But it's super shallow, right? We have this like short breath that's right here, but you can actually like expand your lungs much more deeply than you would on a normal basis.
Right.
I can see you like
Yeah, I
breathing
feel
right
like now I'm like, am I breathing? Am I living? Am I even living life?
Yeah, you are.
Right.
But maybe your lungs aren't living their like fullest capacity.
Right.
And so as we deepen the breath, we soothe the nervous system and we take the mind out of the flight or fight system that it lives in when it's in anxiety.
Right.
So you come to yoga, and even if all you do, like, it doesn't have to be complex, and I think we're good at making things complex.
Absolutely.
But the simple movement of being with your breath and unifying your body to the breath is soothing to the nervous system to the point of bringing you back to the present to alleviate the anxiety, right? Like, that's what it does.
And that's all I want.
That's all I want.
It's all anybody wants. And that's the thing is, you think about yoga, and all I think about was like all my friends were like, just came home from yoga, and they post like Instagram videos of them like getting down and standing on their heads, and I'm like, that's yoga. I can't do it because there's no way that these little arms and these shoulders are gonna hold up my entire body without falling on my face.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, may I address that in like
Absolutely.
multiple points? Okay. First of all, Instagram is not yoga.
No, oh no, okay, no. Instagram is not anything,
Let's
but we pretend like it's our lives.
Social media is not yoga.
Right.
Let's just clarify that, because when you asked me what it is at the beginning, I never mentioned social media. So, it's not yoga. And it's really easy to see like what someone else is doing on social media and be like, nope, no, can't do that.
No, yeah, right.
Okay, so let's just clarify that. That's not it. And also, anybody can do yoga. Like, I mentioned Lululemon, and I'm like bashing on them. I probably should pick someone else. They're just like the most well-known athletic
Right.
yoga legging brand.
Yeah.
You know? And it's generally, you see one certain type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah, oh
One person
yeah. Right.
with one set of traits.
Yep.
Yoga is for anybody, and that's any body, any size of body, any color of body, any shape of body, any religion of body, any ethnicity of body, like any ability of body.
I've seen dogs do it.
Yeah, they're good at
I've
it.
seen dogs do it, and I'm like, if a dog can do it, I probably can't, but I can try.
Yeah, I mean, they can. They're really good at it. We've named poses after them.
Right.
I know.
I know a few
Yeah.
in my head.
Yeah. So it's for anybody.
Yeah.
Right? And then the third thing is that you could do that if you wanted to.
Right.
The standing on your head and the increasing your strength and your stability and your stamina enough to stand on your head if you wanted to, if that was a goal that you had. But that's irrelevant to whether or not you do yoga every day to make your life better.
Right.
Yeah.
And which is what we should be striving for, is to make our life better, not to stand on our heads for Instagram posts.
Right. I mean, which is fun. That's great.
Right.
I post pictures on Instagram.
Why
It's
not?
wonderful and
Yeah.
lovely. But to boil yoga down to being that and to just spread the message that this is yoga is just
Yeah.
a lie, and it's not serving anyone.
No. So it's pretty much like anybody that felt like it could just walk into a studio, whether you can't even see your feet, or you can't touch them, or you can't touch your head, whatever it might be. Anybody can just come in and do it like to their extent of what they can do it to.
Yeah.
It's just for everyone.
It's for everyone.
So don't even make the excuse, I can't do it, because if I can do it, then anybody can do it, although dogs do it, so it's gotta be difficult.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I think that's that's the thing, like, everyone needs to be doing it. You know, I have family members who are older, they're like, oh, well, I can't do yoga. And I'm like, you need it probably more than I do. It's not true. I think we all need it the same amount because human bodies. But it supports your body. It supports your body in battling daily disease. It supports your body in battling daily humanness and human emotions and anxiety and just like spazzing out as a human and having a full spectrum of emotions. It helps you as you age because things start to change. And that practice, both the physical and the mental and the spiritual, are super healing to the body. And so I know that it's intimidating. And I know personally, like, I like dancey, groovy classes because that's just the space that I can lose my brain the most and connect to myself. But that pace of class wouldn't be great for a beginner.
Right.
You know? And so there has to be just be this awareness that there's something for everybody, but not all things are for everybody.
Right.
But there's something in yoga for everyone.
Right.
And I mean, I think everyone should do yoga. Just
I mean, at least once.
at least once.
At least try it.
And probably once a week.
You heard it. Go see Emily once a week.
That's right.
So now, how often do you think it would take? Like, all right, say I come running in here, I'm hysterical pretty much 80% of my life.
Yeah.
That's a true fact. How often do I have to be doing it before I feel like, all right, like I can handle like the rest of my life? Like how much is enough to feel like my anxiety has been reduced?
I mean, I think that depends on like from person to person, right? Because it depends on what is triggering your anxiety, what kind of anxiety you have,
Right.
Whether it's seasonal or person specific or situation specific or generalized, you know, the degree of anxiety.
Right.
But I think again, that connection to the moment, you do yoga one time, you feel relieved in your anxiety, right? But then you have to walk back outside and you like almost get hit by a bike coming down the street because you didn't see it, and then it's back up, right?
Yeah.
But you could sit down in your car, put both feet on the ground, put your hands on your chest, feel your heartbeat and breathe, and you can sit and you can count your breaths until you're back down to feeling grounded again.
Right.
So you've just done it again and it helped really alleviate your anxiety a little bit more.
Right.
Right? So I mean, the practice of doing yoga can be daily. It's a practice in mindfulness.
Right.
And you can, people who sit in office, you can put your feet out on the floor, you can put your hands on your chair, and you can lift your heart and do like a cat-cow at the table, and you can do that every 30 minutes, right? And that's going to open up the chest, it's going to alleviate the spine, you can twist. And again, that's massaging out the spine, massaging your digestive system. It's going to be really great.
Oh, yeah.
So you can do that as often as you want. It doesn't have to be, I need an hour of time
Right. It's
to
like
do this.
little take-homes. You can take it home with you.
Yeah,
It's like homework, but not bad.
right. But not bad, like things that you want to do.
Right. So as long as, I mean, you know, kind of like anything, as long as you come with an open mind,
Yeah.
it'll help. If
Yeah.
you come thinking like, well, great, what is this going to be like? Then it's probably just going to be crap for you because you're not thinking of it as something that's going to be positive as
Yeah.
an experience.
I mean, I think the practice of yoga changes you whether you have a good attitude about it or not. It's kind of like one of my teachers said to me, you can smoke and do yoga. But if you start doing yoga, you're probably going to want to stop smoking, right? Because what he was saying is there are no conditions to doing yoga.
Right.
There are no things that you need to do to become a yogi, except practice yoga. And we talked about that there being multiple levels of yoga. You know, when you start practicing these things, when it feels good to be in your body, when you start moving through like past traumas and past ailments, the things that generate the anxiety, you know, it becomes this want to go deeper and this want to alleviate more and understand more. So you don't have to change to come to yoga.
Right.
If your standard disposition is just a bad attitude, then like, fine, you can still come to yoga.
Right.
But the coming and the doing, the practice of it, that usually results in change.
Right.
So you don't have to know what you're doing. You don't have to have a goal. You just have to do.
Which is like the easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
It sounds like the easiest treatment. I don't want to call it a treatment because that sounds like you're going to the doctors, but it sounds like the easiest way to relieve anything. Because it's almost like on a subconscious level. Like you don't realize it's happening until too late it happened.
Yeah.
And then you're better and you're like, now I can't walk down the street with, like resting bitch face. Because
Right.
I'm just happy for whatever, just because of yoga.
Right. You just have alleviated a little bit more of what was dragging you down before.
That's so fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're saying yes to yoga for anxiety.
They're saying yes to yoga for anxiety, and with no prescription for how often you can do it, but with endless opportunity to do it.
And you could do it every day. You could do it every week. You could go sit in a really hot room and do it, which sounds intense. I think that's for like not beginners.
It's just intense.
So if you're beginning, don't go to hot yoga. Just try like regular. Then you can move on. But absolutely, this is absolutely I did not know any of this stuff about yoga.
I love that now you know.
So do I. I feel so full of knowledge and I just want to go do it.
Yeah. I mean, and what's cool is that the more you know, right? So we said yoga changes you. The more you know, the more you get to know, right? So like one of the limbs has multiple facets. They all have multiple facets underneath them, but one is like guiding principles for how to be, right? And one is guiding principles for how not to be. So one is ahimsa, which is nonviolence, right? So you're like, I'm gonna go to yoga to get flexible, but then you're in class and your teacher starts talking about ahimsa, which is nonviolence. And you notice that as you move through your practice, you can't do something. And so the only voice in your head is, I'm such an idiot. Why can't I do this? This guy next to me has it and is killing it. What's wrong with me? Why have I always been such a failure? And the teacher says, listen to your thoughts. Are they violent? Are they violent towards yourself or towards anyone else? And you're like, oh, dang. Yeah. And so it's this really cool practice of transforming not just your physical body, but your brain space as well, which is where all the anxiety comes from anyways.
I'm so sold on this. I'm like, where do I sign up? I don't know why I would look at a watch. I'm not even wearing one, but I'm so excited. I've got a fake watch on. That's how excited I am. I don't know how excited that is, but I think it's exciting.
I think it's the most exciting.
I think it's the most excited too. And I think that we absolutely need to see some yoga moves right now.
Okay.
So I think we should move into that. So let's go do some yoga.
Doing yoga. Okay. Well, we're just going to start with a basic sun salutation. Does that sound good? Sure. Okay. So this is something that you'll probably see in any yoga class. And it's also something nice to do just as a good way to wake up in the morning. Or do anytime you want, really.
Let's do it.
It's just a simple sun salutation. Yeah.
We'll see how simple.
So in combining the breath and everything, we're just going to start by kind of settling into the moment. Yeah. Okay. So hug the shoulder blades down the back. Maybe I'm going to roll and wiggle them out a little bit. I'm going to close my eyes because there's too many things around.
I have to watch you, so.
Okay. You can close them for a second.
Okay, I'll close them.
Okay, there you go. All right, so take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale from the mouth. And do it twice more. Inhale through the nose. Exhale from the mouth. One more time. Inhale through the nose. Exhale from the mouth. Just take a moment to feel everything soften. Your cheek muscles, your jaw, shoulders, the back of your neck, the belly. Notice where your brain's at. So you can just come back to the breath. Take one more big breath into the belly, feeling the lungs expand, ribcage lifts, belly lifts. And then exhale, nice and slow. Now you can blink your exhale, you'll hinge at the hips and you'll take it all the way down, folding all the way. So hands are gonna come to the shins, lift nice and long spine like you're reaching through the crown of the head. Yeah. Then on your exhale, you'll plant both hands, and we're gonna step both feet back to the back of the mat. And you're gonna lift your hips up and back for a down dog. So spread the fingers wide, hug the elbows in, maybe bend the knees a lot. Yeah, and then lift the heels up, reach your torso towards your thighs, and then let the heels soften back as it feels okay. You can kind of wiggle the hips out a little bit if it feels nice. Yeah. And then you'll relax through the head, maybe take some yeses and nos, shakes, nods, and then you'll settle. Take a big breath in your down dog. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale. Roll forward into a plank pose. So the shoulders stack over the wrist. Yeah, and then really press into all 10 fingers like you're going to press through the floor. Take a big breath here. On your exhale, drop your knees, chest and chin to the floor. And then release the hips, lift the heart forward. Take the shoulder blades down the back. Big breath in. On your exhale, tuck the toes, take the hips back, and then find the down dog. Take a big breath here. Exhaling again. And then you'll walk the feet up to the hands, folding at the top of the mat. And then you'll inhale, raise all the way up. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart down. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that was intense.
Yeah. So you can do that slower, right? You can do it faster. You can add in different things, but that's like being upside down specifically is what makes your heart rate go a little bit higher.
And you feel like a little revitalized.
Yeah.
Kind of like taking a little shot of espresso.
Yeah.
Just like that. Except I don't do espresso. My heart gets fun. But that's good.
Yeah. So do you want to see my favorite pose for anxiety?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we're just gonna do one posture that I think is really helpful for reducing anxiety. You can pretty much do it anywhere that you can find a straight wall. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna slide your booty as close to the wall as you can, so your hips are right up against the wall. Yep, just like that. And then what you're gonna do is come onto your elbows and swing your feet up towards the ceiling. And then you use your elbows to slide the hips closer. And then you just want to get as close as you can. Yeah, there you go. Keep going. Okay, so then you can lie down. So I like my heart really open because that feels good to me. So snuggle the shoulder blades onto the back so that the breastbone broadens. That's a lot of these.
It's good.
Okay. And then you can take these blankets next to you and put them on your belly. So that's a little extra weight just to provide a sense of grounding. And then you take the arms out. And then you're just gonna be breathe. So having the feet overhead above the heart is super soothing to the body in this capacity.
It's very relaxing.
And in this particular pose, blood pools, imagining it pulling around the heart. And everything's just going to soothe and melt into the earth. The blankets provide a little extra weight, a little extra sense of grounding, rootedness into the earth. Nice. And you can be here as long as you like. All day, if that's like what you choose.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. So now you have to awake out of your happy spot.
All right.
You have to figure out how to get out of this. So feet come to the floor, you gotta move the blankets out of the way. And then, you know, as gracefully as possible, you kind of go back on your sticky mat and you can roll over. And then come on up.
Ah. All right.
And that's it.
Great.
You did it.
I did it. All right, guys, if I can do it and dogs do it, then you can do it. So I suggest you find your local yoga studio, or if you're in this area, come see Emily and just enjoy some yoga for some nice relaxing, right? like to feel uncomfortable. I usually
Just like,
Yeah.
Hey guys, today we're here at the breathing room to check out.
No, I'm always awkward and I'm like, what do I do with these?
I know.
What are these?
it's
And here-
Don't follow me. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this series, check out my new book, A Hot Mess's Guide to Getting Your Anxiety and Depression in Check, on Amazon right now. Go check it out. You won't be sorry.